the edge of Lake Erie. And I got down there because a friend of mine, Kelly O'Neill, is the person who gets us down into Ohio. She's just a delightful gal. She started off a fan, has become a fast friend. I just think the world of her. We stay at her place when we're down there. She gets us a little cottage on the edge of Lake Erie. It's absolutely beautiful. And Lake Erie is kind of lovely, to tell you the truth. Just around the corner is a nuclear power plant, unfortunately, but it's out of sight, out of mind, so, you know, who cares? So anyway, there we were, and it was a lovely sunny day, and she comes down, we had a day off, you know, in northern Ohio, and it's really quite bucolic. It's not what you think. It's really absolutely beautiful, you know, vineyards and orchards and all that stuff, really gorgeous. And she says, David, what are you going to do on your day off? And I said, oh, I don't know, Kel, I thought I'd go paddle around the nuclear waste for a little while, you know. She says, well, you don't have to. She said, I found a really good industrial landscape for you. And I said, let's go, you know, like, why waste a nice day in a green field? Let's go, for heaven's sake. So, you know what I like, you know, so she drove us down the lake. We had a really lovely time too. Clark and I took us down the lake, and Kelly took us to Ashtabula, Ohio. And I'd never been in my life. I'd been by it many times on the highway. I saw the sign for it. And I remember thinking, the only time I ever heard of that town was Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan mentioned it on a great song on Blood in the Tracks, a great album too. And he managed to rhyme Ashtabula and Honolulu, if you can imagine that, you know. And I remember thinking at the time, man, you're not even trying anymore. I thought that's pretty poor. Except I just love the song, you know, he did it to me every time. Anyway, that's the only reference I ever heard to it. But I went down there anyway, nonetheless, you know, and we drove down in towards the lake, we got down towards the harbour, and underneath the car wheels, it went from tar to cobblestones, and that was really kind of cool. And then all the buildings around with this yellow brick, all soot covered and grime covered, gorgeous stuff, you know. And there was a chips chandler's shop and other stuff you never see. And the harbour itself was split in two by a tilting bridge. The tilting bridge was go up and down like that. And the inner harbour were the yachts and the little boats I couldn't care less about. And the outer harbour are the big lake boats. And they come into that port to carry coal away. And they're berthed beside this mountain of coal, like an absolute Everest of coal. It's the biggest coal pile I've ever seen, you know. And if you watch that, if you look at the coal pile, you'll see it all comes off a conveyor belt. And you follow the conveyor belt and this grey kind of rainbow over the harbour. And it goes to the other side of the harbour. And on the other side of the harbour is this train yard. And it's full of tracks, just full. And every single track is full of cars. And all the grey hopper cars are in turn filled with coal. And I'm looking at this whole scene and I'm thinking, great, you know, I'm just starting to write the song in my head, and I always write my songs in my head, and I was just starting to write away, and I was starting to think to myself, wonder where those coal cars come from, you know? And just right at that moment, just at that very second, Kelly looks up in my face and she says, hey David, see those coal cars over there? Came all the way from the coal fields of Kentucky. I remember just looking at that and thinking, how romantic can you get? You know? I just thought that was absolutely wonderful, you know, so bang, the song was just flowing after that, no problem at all. I finished it because Kelly took us to the Marine Museum in Ashtabula, Ohio. If you ever go there, you must go to the Marine Museum. It's just beautiful. It's a little tiny museum, it won't take you long to go through. You'll be taken through by a woman who's 94. She can outrun you, and she's way smarter than you are. And she's a fantastic woman, and she gave us a splendid tour. And I just fell in love with the place, you know. So here it is, this coal port that's been kind of bypassed by industry and everything else, except for this coal port on the edge of Lake Erie. But I thought it was just beautiful. I wrote this song about it called Ashtabula. Kelly drove us down the lake on a bright Ohio day, and we looked across the railway yards at the hoppers painted grey. On that coal train from Kentucky, man, she's come a long, long way. We were down in Ashtabula on a sunny summer's day. And we went down to the harbour, down to the harbour side, where the coal is piled up wing, high and black and wide. And it's waiting for a laker man to carry it away. We were down in Ashtabula on a sunny summer's day. And the Tilton Bridge itself swings back and sail is giving way. And the cobbled streets that climb the hills are faded red to grey. And the Maritime Museum, so high above the waves, pictures of the past recalled, black and white and grey. Oh, but the masters and the ships are gone and they're long since passed away. But we were down in Ashtabula on a sunny summer's day. And the tilting bridge itself swings back and sail is giving way, and the cobbled streets that climb the hills are faded red to grey. Kelly drove us down the lake on a bright Ohio day, and we looked across the railway yards at the hoppers painted grey. On that coal train from Kentucky, man, she's come a long, long way. We were down in Ashtabula on a sunny summer's day. Oh, we were down in Ashtabula on a sunny summer's day.